You're listening to the Live Lama podcast. I'm Gunjan.
I'm Rajiv.
And today we'll talk about the most used, misused, abused word, I love you. It's a phrase where people do not realize who I is, who you is, and where is love and what is actually love. Rajiv, just a little insight from your side that we'll come to the love part later. Just want to know what is unconditional love.
From my perspective, the conditional versus unconditional. Conditional is when you have some expectation from the other person or things or whatever. And unconditional is obviously, opposite of that. The main thing that we have to understand is that 99.99% love is conditional, including parental love, sibling love, or friendships, or whatever. To make it unconditional, you have to then start understanding who is I and who is you, and what do you both mean by the term called whatever the word is love. So let's talk about it because it is much more complicated than I can just explain in one or two sentences.
All right. So, a person whom we love the most is ourselves. Like when we say I love you to the other person, it's not that we love that person. It's just that in presence of that person, we love ourselves. We feel good about ourselves. We have a different kind of energy altogether. And when you mentioned about unconditional love and no expectations, I really don't know how to express this because expectations will come. I love myself. I love my body. I love my soul. If I'm doing meditation, it is there for a reason that there is an expectation that, I'll get that calmness. If I'm working out, there is an expectation from my own body that I'll lose weight or I'll have muscles, whatever the reason is. So in nutshell, you want to say that unconditional love exists nowhere?
My hypothesis is that if you truly know yourself, or truly understand yourself, then whatever you do will not have any expectation. You will work out for the reason that you want to work out, irrespective of whether you lose weight or don't lose weight, because there are 10,000 other things that may impact your weight. Maybe you don't have control over your diet, or maybe some, medical condition, hormones, 10,000 other things that can impact your gaining weight. But when you work out, then the only thing that you are focused on is enjoying the workout. That's what is unconditional.
Enjoying the workout. This sounds like...
So enjoying and this is why it is very difficult to understand. This is why it is really even more difficult to practice. Because as you said, 99.9%, whatever action you do, before you do it, you already are expecting some results. And this goes back to, Bhagavad Gita and all that, things that they say. But the meaning is, lost because we are not understanding. Actually, let me give you an example, very interesting example. Let's say, you are walking down the street and there's a person ahead of you.
Okay.
Now, he or she drops something and you pick it up, hand it over to the person and just walk by without waiting for anything like thank you. That is unconditional act. You're not expecting, this thing. But the moment you walk 2 or 3 steps and then you say, thank you, bhi nahi bola yaar. So then suddenly it becomes conditional.
Right.
I think that's the simplest way I can explain, but let's talk about it more because this is a very interesting topic.
Right. Another form of unconditional love that we always hear about is bonding between mom and a kid. Yes, as you said that expectations are there, but somehow as a mom, I feel that it is very unconditional till the time kid is listening to you. It becomes conditional. It becomes conditional when, they don't sleep on time, they don't wake up on time, and then kids are changing, evolving.
Very interesting point. Yes. Now, here's the thing. What you're trying to say is a mom's or a parent, father or mother's love for their children is as long as the children live the life as dictated by parents. So that becomes very, very conditional though.
Yeah. We are raising kids like bhed bakriyan paal rahe ho. So I, sleep. If you want them to sleep, they'll sleep. If you want them to wake up, wake up. And in name of discipline, I really don't know what we are doing with kids, but
90% mark nahi aaye, how well you scored, what kind of job are you doing,
and
how much are you earning? All the expectations you have are thrown on the kids in the name of that we want your betterness, or we want you to live a better life. I would say as long as the parents are focused on living their life better, the children will be happy, because that is where the unconditional love comes in.
very, very well said, Rajiv. And this reminds me of a book, Freakonomics. And in that, it said that world is yet to come up with a problem for which economists do not have a solution. I would recommend our readers to read that book. And just to give a little gist, parents were late in picking up the kids. So daycare decided that they'll put a fine. And when they started putting fine, number went exponentially high. And the gist was people can buy guilt.
Yes.
What else is left? What else is left? So if you can
Yeah.
replace love with money, people would rather do that. That, okay, I'm getting peace of mind. I don't have to rush and get my kid. They took that as a birthright. That, okay, we are paying fine. What's the big deal about it?
That actually is a very, very good book. That actually tells you. There was another, many years ago, I read an article, and I think I still have that published paper or something, the economic way of looking at human behavior. So this was, I forget the name of the economist, and he's a Nobel Prize winner. He had written a treatise on marriage, on relationships, and explained it in economic, framework. Very nice. It essentially hits the same point that you're making, that the moment anything can be replaced by money or donation, for example, which is again another form of money, people would buy their happiness or guilt, freedom from guilt.
Maybe peace, if I can put it like that, I'm more peaceful and more focused.
No, peace never comes with that. Peace never comes with denying what you truly should do. This is why people they do it, but then they become more guilty because they themselves know the reason behind their action. And the moment you understand the reason behind your action, actually, this reminds me of there's a very interesting Sufi story which is told in like parable, different forms, that 3 boys went to a guru.
Okay.
No, sorry, a boy went to the guru and said that, teach me meditation, teach me this, because I want to like moksha, nirvana, whatever the thing. So the guru said, okay, I will teach you, but first you have to, 3 boys. And then, he gave all the 3 boys a pigeon, and he said, go and kill it where no one is watching you. So the first boy went, and he just, turned around the corner. There was nobody, and he just, killed the pigeon and came back. Here it is. He said, okay, you can go back home. The second boy, he took the pigeon and he went across outside the village and into the forest and saw nobody's there. Then he killed and came back and offered the pigeon to the guru and said, okay, this is what I did. He said, okay, you go back home. The third boy, he took the pigeon and he didn't come back for almost a year. And then he comes back and he had the live pigeon with him and tells his guru that wherever I went, I was watching myself. So there was never a moment where we do not watch ourselves. So this comes to the, when, like you said, that parents bought guilt, but the problem was the guilt doubled because they were still watching themselves doing that act. And this comes back to when you say, I love you, who is this I who is saying to who is this you?
When we talk about as a couple, I love you, you love me, whatever, do we look for, not do we, question here is, why do we look for longevity? And why do we see other person as like, whatever I'm emotionally investing in this person, I'm not getting that kind of returns? Why do we always look for returns, at least in long term? Initially, everything is rosy. Initially, everything is, you want to give your best, you want to show the best side of yourself, you want to give everything. But later on, after some time, you're like, why just me? Why am I the only one investing in this relationship? And where does it go when you get this realization that it's just me, it's nothing is coming from the other side? And how do we overcome this fear of person leaving us and won't be with us for a longer period if I'll not put in the effort? How do we overcome this fear?
So the multiple questions you're asking up here. So one, the biggest assumption is that love is static. So love is static means that,
which is why we
once you love
right?
somebody, once you love somebody, that you are expected to love the same person or a thing or whatever for your lifetime. I, like when I was growing up, I had, I was very fond of certain foods. Now, 30 years later, when I go back home, my mom is cooking the same food, assuming that I still love that food. So the assumption that love is static is something that I don't believe in. And that's why there are a lot of disappointments in, this relationships and love and all that. The second is that when you say that, this long-term versus short-term, so one, obviously the love is, the feeling is not static. The second, the people involved are not static. And I think this is something I explore in that story called Snowstorm in my book, Conversations.
I was coming
I
to
don't know if you
story. I was coming to the
okay.
story. Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of a theme that, and there's the story behind the story is that I remember that we were in Houston or Austin at that time, and there was some discussion happening in the weekend friends and all that they gathered, and somebody raised this, somebody said this, that hey, two people will grow at different pace, then will the expectation and something. So I vaguely remember that the discussion around that, and that actually gave me thought of that story, that if let's even marriage is a relationship that's for assumed for very long. So because siblings, they they're not, they may be in different cities and they're not living together. I think the longest relationship that where two people are confined to a small place is marriage. So that's why I explored this in that theme, that if two people are growing, each way have a different pace. The question is, will the love remain static? If it does, that means, are they both growing together equally? If they're not growing equally, and then obviously the love will shift. Then is that acceptable? Not acceptable? But these are tough questions, right? These are very difficult questions to ask yourself.
I remember when these two people were talking again. I don't want to give spoilers about this story. And the question was, and Rajiv, correct me if I'm wrong. Question was that, will you get married again? And she was like, maybe the question should be that if I should get married to the same person again. I would highly encourage our listeners come to our website and do let us know whatever they have done in past, be it related to your education. Would you do the same kind of studies what you have done maybe when in college when you had a choice? Or I know there's a lot of influence that we have from our parents. Engineer, doctor, these are the only two things. You choose the stream. We are giving you that choice what you want to become. But yes, the broader thing is that you have to be
Yeah,
either
it's the same
one,
theme. You're right. You're right. It's the same theme that, would you, if you were to live your life again, would you do it? Would you take the same decisions? Would you marry the same person? Would you, do the same, studies? Would you, it's primary decision, not the, daily decision. So
yeah, would you would you marry, not get married, same person? And I remember this very funny incident happened. There was a monk, he traveled from India to the US, and immigration officer asked, so you're not married? He said, no. You were never married? He said, no. So aren't you missing anything in life? He said, yes, troubles. So
yeah, the story of everybody's marriage. Yes.
yeah, I know. People get married so that they can live peacefully, and those who do not get married, they do not get married for the same reason.
That's what Buddha said, that, there's only misery in life.
There's only that is when it's too short to be have a miserable life. We discussed about conditional love, unconditional love, and it is getting little fragmented. Just want to come on the word love. Like we are exploring these three words, I love you, and we did talk about I. I just want to understand the word love. Yes, you are in love. It's a very rosy picture. Flowers are more colorful, and you are in a different kind of energy altogether. But is it just a bubble, or how do we actually define love, or is it just something that you can experience?
In my view, it can only be experienced. If you have experience, if you have experience and you see somebody else talking about it, you will immediately know that whether the person has experience or not. Describing a word or any emotion, not just love, but love is very difficult because it should be inspirational. If I were to say that what is love or what should be, it should be inspirational. You should never be fearful of it. You should never be fearful of losing that person or people or whatever, the thing you love, because love is in itself is such a powerful emotion that it will fulfill you whether the person is around you or not, or whatever the thing you love.
And
So
yes, Rajiv, love is powerful. However, it should be inspiring,
hmm,
not becoming a burden or not becoming a baggage. There's a beautiful story which we will include in the podcast notes. Do listen. It's about an angel and uh,
the flute.
and a flute player.
Yeah.
And we'll include it in the notes. Do read that story. It's a beautiful one. And yes, as Rajiv said, that love is a very powerful emotion. However, it should be liberating, not suffocating.
Rightly put. Exactly. It should be liberating, not suffocating. And this is interesting because I remember making the statement, in some context that, we love our children so much that we make their lives miserable.
Tell me about it. So I
And it's it goes to the same. You talk about husband and wife, you know uh, the same thing. You'll say, I love you, but then you make your life, the other person's life so miserable. uh, so but is that love? The question is that a lot of people or we get confused about love being a thing rather than being an emotion. So, the entire industry, there's this entire industry like Valentine's Day and all that is spawned of.
Oh,
They made it into something that, if you don't buy your, whatever, the loved one flowers, or don't take them out for dinner, then you don't love the person. Which is the stupidest kind of love that I can think can exist. And yet we fall prey to that external presentation and forget the internal emotion and the feeling about what love should be and is.
And Rajiv, it's not just about Valentine's Day, it's about everything, be it Father's Day, be it Mother's Day, anything. And
Everything. Yes, everywhere.
I used to call my mom. I still call my mom every day, except for weekends, because weekends it's a different routine. I do not wake up at the same time as compared to when I have to go to office. I like to sleep an hour extra, and I call my mom every day except for weekends. And usually these things fall on weekends. And my mom was really hurt that I did not call her on Mother's Day. And I said, Mom, this is for people who do not call their moms. They have given a day so that they can call
at least once a year.
At least once a year. I call you every day. This is not for us. Please do not fall for this game. It's all industry which is going on, and they have to find out new ways to keep themselves in the industry. And then
I call it commercialization of our emotions.
That is very true. And she says that, Mother's Day is coming, right? But it is not for us. It's for people who do not call them moms. I'm like, you got it right, Mom. Please do not expect me to call you on Mother's Day or call dad on Father. Like, I'll call my dad on Father's Day because I do not call him much. And even if he'll pick up the phone, your mom is not, call later. He'll hang up. It's like, if you picked up the phone, at least talk to me. No. So I'll make sure that I call him on Father's Day.
My daughters have the same problem. It's somehow, I think, but there are fathers that I know that, they're very engaged and talkative, but most of the fathers, at least I also know that, my daughters have now figured out how to probe and get me engaged in a discussion, and whatever works.
Mm-hmm. And in name of love, do you give a lot of gyan, or is it like?
So I give gyan every year because
that's the reason. That's the only reason we do not call our dads, because what we get to hear is a lot of gyan. That's it. That's it. They want to know, they'll try to solve all the problems from long distance. If I say my light is not working, my bathroom fittings have gone bad, he'll give me solution for everything. I was like, okay,
that's what dads are for.
So I'll get gyan, and which is why with mom it is very generic, kya banaya, kya khaya, but with dad it has to be very specific. That what I did.
It doesn't have to, that actually, that's how we grew up, and that's the formality of that, especially the father figure in the house is universal, which is surprising.
That's the DNA. That's by design. That's not how it's not possible that across globe all dads are like that. It's the DNA. I mean, it's by design.
The male chromosome,
So
defective.
Most effective is how I put it.
Okay, we are totally on tangent now. So
yes, coming back to the phrase "I love you," and we have explored I part, we have explored love part. You tits and bits, we are coming here and there, but yes, Rajiv, we would like to come on the you part as well. That where is this?
Yeah. So see, the thought is that in a relationship, we never focus on how the other person is growing or not growing. A lot of people, actually, this is a very interesting aspect of individual growth, because most of the time, actually not most of the time, I would say that a lot of times I have seen people, in my personal life or even at work, I would say, you give some feedback to the person and say, hey, this is something you can do better, building on somebody's strength. And people refuse to change. So what the message that then the other person is giving is that I am what I am. I'm not going to change. So continue to love me the way you did, X years, whatever, ago, without realizing that the other person may have grown. And that creates a lot of tension between two individuals because, one person is growing, the other person is refusing to grow and is still expecting the same, emotions from the person who is growing, or vice versa.
Quite possible, Rajiv, that person is growing in another direction. And
yeah, whichever.
Sometimes you just want to leave the person, not because who that person is, but because who you are becoming.
And the other person is becoming, or, trying to become.
Right. So how we say that खरबूजा खरबूजे को देख के रंग बदल लेता है, और you just become like the other person, and after so many years of marriage, husband and wife, they turn into brother and sister. They start they look alike and all, but that does not happen in all relationships. People do grow in different directions, and sometimes they leave each other just because the destination is not the same, or they do not want to choose the same journey.
So even I think even within married life, husband and wife who are still together physically may have separated mentally decades ago. So this is where again the thing comes in that the word love or loving or affection and all that, that's very elastic. And just because two people are still living together does not mean that they are still in love. They may be looking alike, which I don't know whether they do, but if because anybody, all old people who kind of start resembling each other at a particular age. But I don't think that I would say that the people who are staying together are still in love. I would say the love fluctuates moment by moment. Even within 24 hours, there will be moments when you hate each other so much versus when you suddenly get a momentarily emotion of strong love. And that's where the gist is, that understanding that love will fluctuate and it will not be a constant stream of positive emotion throughout your life. And then you will start appreciating it much better.
Coming to love and unconditional love, and again, we always talk about our kids, our spouse. Water flows downward. That is very true. We never talk about the way we love our parents. Why that love is so neglected. I really don't know how much my mom loves me. I can never get. I always had that comparison that, the way she loves my brother, she doesn't love me. She loves him.
Yeah, sibling rivalry. Yeah, sibling rivalry always there.
The way she loves my brother, she doesn't love me. The way she loves me, I also do not love her. And then whenever I used to ask her that, whom do you love more, Bhai or me? And then she gave me a question, whom do you love more, Papa or me? And I said, Papa. So she's like, okay, you can still say that, but I can never say that whom I love more. I love both the kids equally.
Yeah.
Is that a lie, or a very big lie, or a biggest lie? And please, I don't want to know the truth. Is what I want to say,
well,
right now.
If you cannot handle the truth, then never ask for the truth. Yeah, the honest answer is I have no clue. Yeah.
You have two daughters, and do you love them?
Yes. So it's exactly the same discussions happen in our house also. Both siblings, one daughter says that we love the other one more.
Okay.
Yeah. So who's the favorite, right? There is this is which is, what is, this is where the other two words become very important, I and you. Because if you understand those two words, then the word love will not need that much of explanation, because that will be understood by default. It's like saying that, you have two eyes, which one do you love more? Would you like to give your left eye or the right eye? Or the left arm or the right arm? So symbolically, right? So whether you have one kid or two kids or three kids or whatever, they are exactly the same for you. And there will be things that, each has a different personality. So you may love one differently than you may love the other, child, but that does not mean that that is less or more of love. The love may be the same.
And that comes from expectation. If one kid is listening to you more, you love that more. One kid
No,
is not listening, maybe.
yeah. Actually, no, I don't think I ever had that conflict that whether they listen to me or not. I personally think that no matter what they do, I will still love them. So it does
For
not matter. And I think that's where I'm trying to explain something that, is difficult to put in words. But let's say that, I have a child, and the child turns out to be, one child turns out to be, like very stable, from worldly perspective and all that. The other becomes a rogue. I will still love both of them equally, but I will never stand in the way of the ways of life. What that means is that, let's say, if the child, one child is a rogue, and he goes and does something illegal, and the police is chasing that person, I will not stop police, or I will not hide the child, because that is not love, that is protection. I will still let the child face the consequences of the action and decision, but my love will still remain the same. Or maybe if I can put it in different ways, that you can always come home to me, no matter what you have done in life.
So, Rajiv, here's the thing. We get so blinded by love that we have for our kids, and we are so focused on their marks, their extra tuitions, if they need any help. We just never realize if they need any counseling. When
Yeah.
we talk about a kid getting rogue or not getting into the right direction, as a parent, isn't it our responsibility to assess that early, that maybe kid needs counseling when they become a teenager? They're still going to school. We are social animals, and we just do not know what they are facing. And maybe it's bullying, maybe it's
It goes back to
complex.
exactly what I said, that understanding you, the other person, their personality, their likes, dislikes, and not just on surface, like what are they inspired by? I think that, and that's what I use in the book also, that the story also, that for me, the gist of the word love is that, do you understand what inspires you, and do you understand what inspires the person that you are claiming to love? Once you understand that, then the love will automatically happen or not happen.
So you're saying it has to be effortless. If you're putting in effort,
Yes,
then it is not.
there are some expectations. It's
There,
like you're breathing.
right.
You're breathing, you're not putting any effort, it is happening naturally. And that's the way, the love should be, the emotion of love should be.
And the thing that is attached to love, that love hurts, it's not the love which hurts, it's the expectations.
Yes.
So if you are loving someone, it is effortless and you're not expecting, it's there. It will fade. Yes, it will fade. Everything has a timeline. It comes and goes.
And lifespan, yeah.
But if it is with expectations, so next time when you say love hurts, think again. What is it actually which hurts? the love or the
Yeah.
expectation?
Yeah, I think this is a very broad topic. Maybe we should explore different things about this phrase. We've gone all over the place, and we try to explore the I part, the you part, and the love part.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening. And all I would like to say is that love should be liberating, not suffocating. Ensure when you're loving a person, ensure that you're not making that as a burden.
Yes.
There's a very famous quote from Indian poet, Ishq ne nikamma kar diya galib, aadmi hum bhi dekha. Please do not
Yeah.
become a nikamma person when you are in love, and stay
Yeah.
tuned. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah. Thank you.